Karma Drive, and you could save on your insurance rate.
Hi, I'm Carl Azuz for CNN 10. Welcome to the second of 3 shows we're producing this week. It begins in the United Kingdom, where health officials say Omicron, a newly discovered variant or version of COVID-19, is spreading rapidly throughout the country. The British government estimates that Omicron accounts for 20% of all coronavirus cases in the UK. That amounted to just over 4,700 Omicron cases Monday. 10 people had been hospitalized with the new variant, despite most of them being fully vaccinated. 1 person with it has died. There's a lot that's still unknown about this mutation of COVID, but according to the World Health Organization, early findings suggest that existing vaccines may be less effective in preventing people from getting and spreading Omicron. Early data also suggest it's less severe than previous COVID variants, that most people with Omicron have relatively mild symptoms or none at all. Still, the British government is asking more people to work from home. It's reinstated a mask mandate for people to shop or use public transportation, and it's planning to expand vaccine requirements for people to go into certain public places. Across the Atlantic, New York State is increasing COVID-related restrictions. For people to enter businesses there, they now have to be wearing masks unless the businesses themselves require vaccinations. The state's government says it's trying to get ahead of an expected winter surge in cases. A mask mandate remains in effect in Illinois for people who go inside public buildings, and that's regardless of whether they've been vaccinated. Cases have been on the rise in the American Northeast and Midwest over the past couple weeks. We don't know if that's because of the Omicron variant, though. This could be the continued spread of previously identified versions like Delta. Protesters have been speaking out against various mandates nationwide, and dozens of court cases related to them have been filed. Meanwhile, several states in and around the Midwest are trying to measure the damage caused by last weekend's tornadoes. Kentucky's governor says at least 4 of them struck his state, with one twister staying on the ground for a stretch of 200 miles or more. At least 74 people there were killed, more than 100 are still unaccounted for, and over 1,000 homes in Kentucky were destroyed. People from all over the country have sent millions of dollars in donations. Officials say more is needed, and they're specifically asking for blood donations. 7 other states were hit by tornadoes last Friday or Saturday. The National Weather Service says at least 50 twisters were reported. 10-second trivia. What did U.S. President Gerald Ford call public enemy number 1 in 1974? Soviet influence, pollution, OPEC, or inflation? With the inflation rate at higher than 11%, President Ford called it a public enemy. There are a lot of mixed signals concerning the U.S. economy. In its most recent employment report, the Labor Department said 210,000 jobs were created in November. That's far short of the 573,000 economists had expected. A bad sign there. On the other hand, the unemployment rate, the percentage of American workers who don't have a job, that dropped from 4.6% in October to 4.2% in November. A good sign there. Wages have increased. The government says this November, the average amount of money Americans made per hour was 4.8% higher than it was a year ago. But prices have increased too. The government says inflation is 6.8% higher than it was a year ago, its biggest increase in almost 4 decades. Economists say the rise in wages is not enough to keep up with the rise in prices. And while some are optimistic that inflation could calm down in the year ahead, banking officials have indicated it may stick around.
Hi. You hungry?
In the St. Cyr household,
That'd be nice.
Cricket the show cow and Trigger the rescue horse are top priorities.
So your animals come first. Like, they eat before I eat.
And these gentle giants eat a lot. The price of their food has gone up, and with twice daily feedings, they run through nearly 2 50-pound bags a week.
It was about like $16 a bag, and right now it depends on where you go, where we're getting it. It's about like 22.
It's just one of the price pinches for this family in rural Michigan. Spending power for rural Americans has dropped by 5.2%, compared to 3.5% for urban Americans from pre-pandemic. And rural Americans typically spend more on the very items that have seen the biggest price increases: food, energy, and cars.
What are the biggest challenges you face when it comes to inflation?
I think it's just not having the options to offset those costs. It's like, okay, yeah, we could drive another half hour, another hour, but it's like we're paying $3.50 for gas.
But gas prices are falling to a 7-week low, down 20 cents in Michigan